Hello and welcome and namaste from New Delhi. You're watching DD India. I'm Gautam Roy. This is DD India Live and coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to shortly arrive in New Delhi after concluding a successful visit to Malaysia. India and Malaysia exchange 11 pacts, agreed to elevate ties in defence, security, semiconductors, digital economy, trade, manufacturing and tourism, among others. Iran defies US warning to insist on the right to enrich uranium, says it will not give up this right but is ready for confidence building. And Japan's Prime Minister Takaichi is on track for a big victory in the snap polls. Thailand voting has concluded and counting is underway. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will shortly arrive in New Delhi from Kuala Lumpur after his two-day official visit to Malaysia. The visit saw Prime Minister Modi holding wide-ranging discussions with Malaysian counterpart Dato Seri Anwar Ibrahim, aimed at strengthening the bilateral partnership across strategic, economic and people-centric domains. The visit took place at the invitation of Prime Minister Ibrahim. India and Malaysia established diplomatic relations in 1957, which were elevated to a comprehensive strategic partnership in August 2024. Prime Minister Modi is expected to arrive in New Delhi in a short while from now. Now, against the backdrop of a changing Indo-Pacific and rising global security challenges, India and Malaysia are charting a stronger strategic partnership. From defence and digital finance to culture and people-to-people ties, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's landmark visit to Kuala Lumpur marks a decisive push to elevate India-Malaysia relations to the next level.
At a time of global uncertainty and regional churn, India and Malaysia are sending a clear message of unity, strategic trust, and zero tolerance for terrorism. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Kuala Lumpur signals a decisive push to deepen bilateral ties. On day 2, PM Modi, along with his Malaysian counterpart, held wide-ranging discussions focusing on intelligence sharing and maritime security. Several memorandums of understanding were signed covering digital payments, technology exchange, education, scientific research, skill development, and cultural cooperation, aimed at giving fresh momentum to bilateral engagement. Let's take a look at the outcomes of this visit. Cooperation on social security, cooperation on combating and preventing corruption, cooperation on disaster management, MOU on United Nations peacekeeping cooperation, exchange of notes on cooperation in semiconductor industry, cooperation on security, health and medicine, technical and vocational education and training, 10th India-Malaysia CEOs Forum, framework agreement on International Big Cats Alliance, establishment of a consulate in Malaysia, establishment of a Tiruvalluvar Center, institution of Tiruvalluvar scholarships, agreement between NPCI International Payments Limited and PayNet of Malaysia, cooperation between University of Cyberjaya and ITRA Jamnagar.
सिक्योरिटी के क्षेत्र में हम काउंटर टेररिज्म, इंटेलिजेंस शेयरिंग और मैरीटाइम सिक्योरिटी में सहयोग मजबूत करेंगे। हम रक्षा सहयोग को भी और व्यापक बनाएंगे।
A major highlight was the announcement that India's unified payments interface is now operational in Malaysia and opening of the first Indian consulate in Malaysia to boost people-to-people ties. Both leaders reaffirmed a zero-tolerance approach to terrorism, with PM Modi stating that India's message is clear: no double standards, no compromise.
वैश्विक अस्थिरता के इस माहौल में भारत और मलेशिया की बढ़ती मित्रता दोनों देशों के लिए अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण है। हमारा साझा मत है कि आज के चैलेंजेस का समाधान करने के लिए ग्लोबल इंस्टीट्यूशंस का रिफॉर्म बहुत जरूरी है। हम शांति के सभी प्रयासों का समर्थन करते रहेंगे और आतंकवाद पर हमारा संदेश स्पष्ट है। नो डबल स्टैंडर्ड्स, नो कॉम्प्रोमाइज।
Malaysian Prime Minister lauded PM Modi's peace efforts on the global front and said that exchanges with PM Modi are not diplomatic, rather exchanges between friends. He added that India is growing by leaps and bounds. Malaysia wants to increase its trade with India.
India is growing by leaps and bounds. It's one spectacular rise in the international economic and trade scene, and therefore Malaysia, in the ASEAN context, would certainly benefit immensely if we could secure.
PM Modi also stressed on the importance of Indo-Pacific and reiterated India's commitment to peace and stability in the region. As the visit concludes, both sides express confidence that the agreements and initiatives announced will translate into real benefits for citizens, taking India-Malaysia relations to a higher strategic orbit. With Meghna Dev in Malaysia, Bureau Report, DD India.
The visit also saw Prime Minister Modi interacting with the leading industry figures from Malaysia and Putrajaya. Prime Minister Modi met the founder and CEO of Phison Electronics Corporation, Pua Hien Seng. Phison Electronics Corporation is a Taiwanese public electronics company which primarily designs, manufactures and sells controllers for NAND flash memory chips.
Very good discussion with the Prime Minister Modi, and to me it's a big impressive that he has a very big ambitions to build the semiconductor industry in India. And what we try to deliver to Prime Minister, we are not just going there to build factory, no. We like to transfer our technology, try to help train the talent in the local India to design the silicon, the firmware, software, and also the AI solutions. So maybe after a few more years, India will have your own ecosystem, own cluster owned by the India company, become your local India technology. Design, then produce India. This can really build the real technology owned by the Indian company.
Malaysia's state-owned energy major Petronas is looking to deepen engagement with India as well. Petronas President and Group CEO Tengku Muhammad Taufik met Prime Minister Modi in Malaysia with discussions centered on energy cooperation, hydrocarbons, clean energy and long-term partnerships. The meeting highlighted India's growing energy needs and opportunities for collaboration across the oil and gas value chain as New Delhi pushes for energy security, diversification and a transition towards a cleaner, sustainable energy future. Now, shifting focus, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has said that there was no other option but to negotiate, referring to nuclear talks with the United States. His comments made in Tehran came a day after he said Iran will strike US bases in West Asia if it is attacked by US forces which have massed in the region. While Araghchi said no date has yet been set for the next round of negotiations, US President Donald Trump said they would take place early next week. Araghchi also declared that his country was not intimidated by the US's naval deployment in the Gulf.
The Islamic Republic of Iran has paid a very heavy price for its peaceful nuclear program and for uranium enrichment. Why do we insist so much on enrichment and refuse to give it up, even if a war is imposed on us? Because no one has the right to dictate our behavior. If Iran insists on enrichment, it is because it refuses all domination.
Trump has threatened to strike Iran after a US naval buildup in the region, demanding that it renounce uranium enrichment, a possible pathway to nuclear bombs, as well as stopping ballistic missile development and support for armed groups around the region. Tehran has long denied any intent to weaponize nuclear fuel production. Also, Trump and Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu are set to meet in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday to discuss negotiations with Iran. In a statement, Netanyahu's office said that he believes any negotiations must include limitations on ballistic missiles and a halting of the support for the Iranian axis. Wednesday's meeting will mark the sixth between the two leaders since Trump took office a year ago. The US and Israel have repeatedly warned Iran that they would strike again if Tehran pressed ahead with its enrichment and ballistic missile programs. Iran and the US held negotiations in Oman on Friday, and Trump later said the talks would resume early next week. Japan's ruling party is set to regain a majority in slap lower house polls. That's what media projections are showing, in what would be a big victory for the country's first female prime minister, Takaichi Sanai. Polls opened in Japan on Sunday. Takaichi, who became prime minister in October last year after being elected LDP leader, called the rare winter election in an attempt to capitalize on her personal popularity.
In this election, various parties are putting forward policies such as abolishing the consumption tax. That may sound good right now, but I am very concerned about whether it is truly a responsible policy for the generations that come after us. What worries me most is not just the present, but what will happen to Japan in the future.
In parts of Japan, voter turnout remained relatively low due to heavy snowfall causing transport disruptions. And close by in Thailand, vote counting was underway after polls closed in general elections on Sunday, with the contest shaping up as a close three-horse race and no outright winner expected, raising the likelihood of protracted coalition negotiations. The Progressive People's Party is widely seen as leading the race and on track to emerge as the single largest party. However, its reformist agenda is not shared by its main rivals, fueling the prospect that it could once again be sidelined through a post-election alliance aimed at keeping it out of power. The People's Party is the successor to the Move Forward Party, which won the most seats in the 2023 elections but was blocked from forming a government by conservative lawmakers before being dissolved by the Constitutional Court. And close at home in Bangladesh, a total of 2,034 candidates, including 275 independents, are contesting the 13th Jatiya Sangsad, that's a national parliament election, and referendum scheduled on the 12th of this month. According to Bangladesh Election Commission, 51 political parties are in the race, with the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, the BNP, fielding the highest number of candidates, 291, under the paddy sheaf symbol. Islami Andolan Bangladesh has nominated 258 candidates, followed by Jamaat-e-Islami with 229 and the Jatiya Party with 198. Campaigning will end at 7:30 a.m. on the 10th of this month, marking the start of the mandatory 48-hour silence period. Voting will be held on 12th starting at 7:30 a.m. and it will be on till 4:30 p.m. through ballot papers and transparent ballot boxes in 299 constituencies, as polling in Sherpur 3 was cancelled following the death of a candidate. Meanwhile, postal voting has been underway with 422,960 ballots cast by expatriates through the Postal Vote BD app, already reaching Bangladesh. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. Seychelles President Dr. Patrick Ermini arrives in New Delhi after productive engagements in Chennai and Mumbai. And India unleashes AI from labs to farmlands. Bharat Vistar set to power smarter agricultural revolution.
स्वागत आहे टू मॅग्नेटिक महाराष्ट्र. One of India's newest states. One of India's oldest lands.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, Seychelles President Dr. Patrick Amini, who was on a 5-day visit to India, arrived in New Delhi earlier on Sunday. Upon arrival, President Amini was warmly received by India's Minister of State for Health and Family Welfare, Anupriya Patel, at the airport and was accorded a ceremonial welcome. During his visit to India, President Amini will meet President Draupadi Murmu and hold discussions with Prime Minister Narendra Modi on bilateral, regional and international issues of mutual interest. The visit of the Seychelles President coincides with the 50th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic ties between the two nations. And earlier, President Amini met with Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis in Mumbai on Sunday. The Seychelles Minister for Foreign Affairs and Diaspora, Berry Foray, and Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Trade, as well as his investment, Pierre Laporte, were also present during the meeting. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal has said that focus of Prime Minister Modi has been on expanding trade ties with developed countries. Piyush Goyal said that trade ties with developed nations would be a win-win for both the sides.
As I said, Prime Minister Modi is very focused. If India has to become a developed country, we have to work with other developed countries in the world. And therefore, his focus has been on expanding trade relations, opening avenues for growth and business with other developed countries, not developing countries. And developed countries naturally are unable to compete on our areas of interest, and they have things to offer which really we need. So it's a win-win for both.
Now, India is stepping into a new era of artificial intelligence, not just in technology hubs, but right down to the farmlands. As New Delhi gears up to host the world's largest AI Impact Summit, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has unveiled a groundbreaking initiative in the Union Budget 26-27, which is called Bharat Vistar. Now, this AI-powered tool promises to transform agriculture, empowering farmers with data-driven decisions and smarter access to resources. DD India's Rahul Upadhyay brings us more.
New Delhi will host the India AI Impact Summit from February 16 to 20, 2026, expected to be the largest among the 4 global AI summits held so far. With over 35,000 registrations already received and participation anticipated from more than 100 countries, the summit aims to reflect growing global momentum around responsible, inclusive and impact-driven artificial intelligence. The summit will focus not just on vision, but on real-world execution and outcomes that directly benefit people. With agriculture emerging as a key priority for India, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in the Union Budget 2026-27 announced the launch of Bharat Vistar, a multilingual AI-powered agricultural platform designed to transform how farmers access information, services and markets.
I propose to launch Bharat Vistar, a multilingual AI tool that shall integrate the AgriStack portals and the ICAR package on agricultural practices with AI systems. This will enhance farm productivity, enable better decisions for farmers, and reduce risk by providing customized advisory support.
Bharat Vistar, or virtually integrated system to access agricultural resources, will be a multilingual AI tool that will integrate the AgriStock portals and the ICAR package on agricultural practices with AI systems. Vistar is an open, interoperable and federated public network dedicated to agricultural information and advisory services. A decentralized repository, it will facilitate the discovery and fulfillment of verified agricultural content, best practices, and agri-skilling across diverse private and public provider platforms, enhancing farm productivity through data-driven and timely interventions, improving farmer decision-making at every stage, input crop production market by providing accurate, localized insights, best practices and data services, reducing market risks via customized crop and region-specific advisory support, supporting government in real-time monitoring, improved delivery of agriculture extension services and targeted intervention. Artificial intelligence is transforming Indian agriculture through precision-driven farming techniques, AI-powered crop monitoring using drones and satellite imagery, smart irrigation systems, and advanced pest and disease detection tools are helping farmers reduce losses while improving productivity.
From global leadership in AI to transformation in agriculture sector at the grassroots level, India is using technology for its inclusive growth and rural development. With camera person Rajkumar, this is Rahul Upadhyay reporting from New Delhi for DD India.
India's Minister of State for External Affairs, Pavitra Margarita, attended the event held at Buddh Vihar in Delhi on Sunday to honour India's humanitarian support given to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's High Commissioner to India underlined the role of Delhi under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in supporting Sri Lanka after Cyclone Ditwa. Speaking at the event, the minister highlighted the strong bond between the two nations.
Honorable Prime Minister always considers Sri Lanka to be the closest friend of our nation, and also historically also for the centuries after centuries we are standing together, we are marching together in terms of prosperity, in terms of progress. So this brotherhood is century-old brotherhood, and now this is being taken to the next level by the leadership of both Sri Lanka and India.
And in an exclusive conversation with DD India's Vishal Baristo, High Commissioner of Sri Lanka to India, Maheshini Cologne, said that India has always been the first responder and underlined the deep bond between the two nations.
Sri Lanka has expressed its gratitude towards the leadership of India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, for helping Sri Lanka out and believing in neighborhood first policy. I have with me the High Commissioner of Sri Lanka to India, Maheshini Cologne. Let's talk to her and find out. What do you have to say about the recent help that India extended, especially after the Cyclone Ditwa?
We are extremely grateful to India for the support that it extended to Sri Lanka during Cyclone Ditwa. Actually, India's support to Cyclone Ditwa happened immediately within hours of Cyclone Ditwa striking Sri Lanka, and India did not stop after helping us with relief and rescue. India has gone all the way and even expressed support for us for the rebuilding phase. Minister Jaishankar visited Sri Lanka as Prime Minister Modi's special envoy within weeks of Cyclone Ditwa and expressed support for rebuilding a $450 million package. So we are extremely grateful, but it's not just Cyclone Ditwa. India has always stood by Sri Lanka, and India has proven again and again that India stands by Sri Lanka as a first responder. So if I just speak of a few instances in the past couple of decades, when tsunami struck in 2004, India was the first country, despite India also being affected by the tsunami. And then when our conflict ended in 2009, India was the first country to come to help us. Then during the COVID-19 crisis, as well as the economic crisis, and then 2019, when the Easter Sunday terrorist attacks took place and most countries issued travel advisories, Prime Minister Modi within months went to Sri Lanka because our tourism was affected. Prime Minister Modi, despite security threats and so on, visited Sri Lanka and demonstrated confidence, and that visit helped us actually for other tourists to have the confidence to visit Sri Lanka.
One last question. What do you have to say about the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi?
Prime Minister Modi has always stood by Sri Lanka. His policy of neighborhood first, he has demonstrated going beyond words. So as I said when I spoke, it's a lived reality for Sri Lanka. So in gratitude to Prime Minister Modi, actually, when he visited Sri Lanka in April last year, Sri Lanka conferred on him the highest title that we have conferred on a foreign leader, the Sri Lanka Mitra Vibhushana. So that was in gratitude for what Prime Minister Modi has done for us.
So there you hear the High Commissioner of Sri Lanka. She is all appreciative of the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and why not? Because India has always believed in neighborhood first. With cameraman Bhim in Delhi, this is Vishal Baristo for DD India.
And that's all we have for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS. Just scan the QR code on the screen to download the app right away. And we'll be back with more news that breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy. And from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.